Jana,
Hey,
hi.
hi. How many blog posts do you think you need to make Pinterest work?
Oh my gosh, this is actually a really common question.
Yeah, I know
How
it seems
many
simple, but people ask all the time. So let's
how
talk about
many
it.
do I need to get started?
Yeah,
Well, just get started. That's my
yeah,
answer. All right,
yeah,
goodbye.
yeah. Okay, that was a quick live stream. Yeah, I mean, I think that. Well, so. First of all, I'll say it's funny. My high leverage content student Sarah, who's one of my superstar students who I've become
Yeah.
friendly with. She sent me a message in response to our promotion on Instagram for this live stream.
Oh yeah.
And said, I'll bet it's 12 to 20, which is the number that I have in my program that I teach people. And it was so cute. I was like, yeah. I mean, yes, I would love it if you had 12 to 20 blog posts to pin to Pinterest. But
Yeah.
I think that the answer is like basically the reason we can have a whole live stream about this is because there's different ways to answer the question, and not one of them is, it's not like one of them is the only right way. So we'll talk about some different approaches that all revolve around this idea of like, how many do you need? You know, how many do you need to make it work in the long run, to make it worth your while, things like that. So, oh, you're
Yeah.
frozen.
I am frozen.
Frozen.
There I
Frozen.
am.
Let it go. Let it
Frozen,
go.
frozen.
Okay,
I
you're
am
back, I think.
here. I'm
Okay.
just
So it's just the picture that's frozen, but
not
your
here.
voice isn't frozen. Okay. All right. We
Just to be
progress. We
safe, I'm
move
going to turn on
forward.
the transcript.
Okay.
Yeah, so most people, I feel like, okay, this is a common misconception. I'm actually going to write this down because I'm going to write an email about this.
Good.
Um, I'm like obsessed with writing emails now, Jana.
I love that for you. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy about that.
Guess
Okay.
what? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Um, Common thing that I think the common denominator around why I think people ask this question,
Hmm.
the same reason they ask, how many times can I pin the same URL?
Exactly.
How many boards do I need? How many pins can I create? Like it's
Hmm.
all this, it all comes down to the same thing. They feel like um it's gonna be like spam, like they're gonna spam, or they can't do it too many times. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. And like in the grand scheme of things, the platform is not like keeping an eye on your account and being like, how many times has she pinned that URL? It's 10.
Right.
Okay, spam.
Right. There isn't one bright white line where
Yeah.
like it stops being acceptable and becomes spam, or stops being spam and starts becoming acceptable. There's different moving pieces, but we'll in this live today, we will give people something to go on. Like we're not just going to say, "Oh, it just depends. It depends. It depends." Like if you watch this live stream, if you're live here now or watching the replay, we'll give you some numbers that can work.
So, kind of part of what I was going to say there, and I forgot until I just remembered, was
Mhm.
um, part of this part of this thing, this underlying current behind these questions. Um, I feel like most people who are starting marketing on any given platform, they just want to like get to the end.
Yep.
So I want to create all the boards I'm ever going to need right now.
Right.
I want to know how many times I can pin this URL right now.
Right.
But like you're not starting when you start blogging and you create a website, like you're not starting with that same mindset. So why, and you're not doing that with Instagram, I wouldn't think, or with your email marketing strategy. So like why do they do that on Pinterest?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I mean,
unfair.
I kind of understand the psychology behind it. It's kind of like the idea of wanting to, it's like, do you want to see the full staircase, or do you just want to take the first step kind of thing? Or people say like you don't need to see the full staircase. You just need to take the first step.
Yeah.
And I personally always hated that phrase. It always like gets my goat because gets my goat. How old am I? My God. It annoys me when I hear that because I'm like, okay, I get it. Like I know that you don't want me to be like wanting the full staircase. You just want me to take the first step. But also, if I'm going to commit to taking the first step and the second step and the third step, I kind of want to know what's ahead of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to know what the staircase is going to look like.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the feeling that people feel when they're adding a new platform like Pinterest. They're like, okay, what's this going to take? You know what I mean? And so I think that's where the question comes from. And yeah, it can be hard for us as Pinterest strategists, but at the same time, like I understand the need that people have for it. So over the years, through my content and my actual programs, like Pinterest with Purpose, I have tried to answer it. But again, I'm always careful to say, like, I'm going to give you something to go on. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
give you the staircase so you know what to do and you're going to know what you're getting yourself into. But please understand, this is also not the only way it could work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, if you want to adjust it a little bit, or if you want to do some research and, or reach out to me and book a call and find out if you could actually do it this way instead, like, absolutely do that. Because, like, what I'm about to share with you, I'm sharing it with you so you have something to go on, but I'm not sharing it with you because it's literally the only way that it could work and this is it for you, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's like always been my approach so that people can actually have something to sink their teeth into, but also I'm not being irresponsible and being like my way is the only way, you know? So
Yeah.
can we start at like one end of the spectrum and then
Sure. Let's
move
do
to
it.
another? Okay. I have a question for you actually that was on my mind this morning. You being the Pinterest queen, the person who has seen so many Pinterest accounts, has, you know, you work behind the scenes with Pinterest, the actual company doing consulting for them. You've talked to so many people, even beyond the people who you've actually helped their with their accounts, just to find out, you know, what goes on with Pinterest. So, have you ever seen or seen evidence of, maybe like it didn't have to be your client, but maybe someone else's client or something, anyone have a successful, profitable Pinterest strategy with no blog posts, zero? I think the answer is yes, but I'm just wondering if it really is, or like one end of the spectrum is like, how many blog posts do you need? What if
Um,
someone has none? You know what I mean? Like, can it still work? That's the first question I want to ask. Did I stump you? Or are you frozen? I think you're,
yes. Okay, so I am frozen, but I'm watching the transcript so I can hear you.
oh,
So
that's awkward. Sorry.
my, that's fine. You're frozen for me, but I can read the transcript. So yes, I have seen it work where people can definitely come in and see some success with few blog posts, but, and this is a big but, the blog posts need to be, they cannot be like 500 words long.
Hmm.
The blog posts need to be like like the method that you teach, which is long and informative and detailed, where I can take one blog post and essentially create like 100 different pins for it from like
Hmm.
all these different angles with all these different keywords.
Hmm.
If someone comes to me and they have like a 1,000 word blog post and I can only create like 10 pins with 10 different angles and then I'm stuck on repeat doing that over and over,
This is not
I
going to
just have
fly.
not, it's not effective.
Yeah. What about e-commerce sellers? If you have a lot of product listings, but you don't have a blog, can work, right?
That can work. I'm actually working with one of those currently.
Hmm.
We are like stuck up against a ceiling, it feels like, with
Hmm.
impressions each week because right now we're in the middle of Q4
Hmm.
holiday shopping season. So I think it depends on the time of the year as well. I mean,
Yep.
given that all things are great, yeah, that it is totally possible. Like this particular client has hundreds of product listings,
Hmm.
and each product listing has like 5 to 10 variants within it. So you could
Hmm.
make pins for each of those variants for each URL.
Yeah. When you say variants, you mean like the same product in like five different colors or something like that.
Different colors, different sizes, different shapes, different like
L-
modular
Yeah.
components, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then what about people, and we're going to talk about all the spectrum. So we're going to start with like the I don't have a lot of blog post people, and then we'll move forward into like I have a lot, like how many do I need to be pinning, how often, right? But keep staying on the trains, the train, whatever, the
The
train
train on
track
the track.
of very few or zero blog posts. What about people who come to you and say, whether it's in Pin Profit Academy and they're your students and they want to learn from you and implement their own Pinterest strategy, or people who've come to you to be a client, but they only have a landing page? Like, I know this has happened to me before where someone's like, oh, I have a great funnel. It's working really well. I have a landing page. I just want more opt-ins to this one landing page. What do you think about that? Has that ever worked from your perspective?
If someone comes to me in this situation, my suggestion is almost always, great, let's get you an evergreen setup in place. And then when you have more content to share or more with your funnel to share, you can do that. we can at least get the profile set up. We can get pins set up for it.
Mhm.
And it's not something that I will not take people like that for clients because it's
Mhm.
not worth their investment for me to manage an account with one landing page.
Right.
So if they want to do it
Same.
on their own, they
Mhm.
can, but I'm not going to routinely manage an account with one URL. I won't
Right.
even routinely manage an account with 10.
Okay.
It's
That's
really
a good
just,
number there. Yeah.
it's really not enough for me.
Yeah.
However, I'm not saying that that's not enough for you to start.
Exactly. There's a difference between can you come into Pin Profit Academy and learn Pinterest and implement a strategy that would be successful for you and
Yeah.
get ROI, like basically make more money on it than you will spend on it, with a couple of with like, with 5 blog posts or one landing page and 2 blog posts or something like that. There's a big difference between that and are you going to come in and pay Heather's agency, whatever amount of money. Obviously, it's definitely going to be 4 figures, if not more, to do this for you, and will you make more than what you're investing in paying her agency to do it for you when you only
Yeah.
have one landing page and 2 blog posts or 0 blog posts or whatever. So that's a really, really, really important distinction for this conversation too.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you brought that up. Um, so yeah, and same what I in my days when I used to set up Pinterest profiles, and again, this isn't something where I'm going to ask them for an ongoing investment. It's me setting up your profile and then handing it to you to manage with a strategy. But even that, I was charging upward up to $4,000 for that type of service, and so I need to feel confident that that person's going to make more than that, right?
Yeah.
On their investment. So when people came to me and said, "Oh, I have a funnel. I have this one landing page. Like, I don't really need to do anything else because I'm getting people into this funnel, and I just want Pinterest to help me get more people into the funnel. I'm looking for different ways to fill the funnel." Okay, legit. I get it. I'm kind of in that position right now myself, actually. Of course, I have blog posts, but
Yeah.
what I've always recommended in those situations is great, you're going to need more URLs for Pinterest. Whether you do it on your own or you hire someone, like you're definitely going to need that. So let's back up and think, okay, what's the transformation of your funnel webinar or your funnel entry point? What is that webinar or that PDF or whatever going to help them do, make possible for them?
Yeah.
And look at their paid offer and say, okay, what do people need to learn and hear and understand more deeply to want your lead magnet?
Yeah.
Or to want your paid offer or both, and let's start writing blog posts about those things because then you have more URLs to pin to Pinterest, so you're actually going to be able to do enough volume of pins without being spammy so that it's going to give you good ROI more quickly and you're going to get the data more quickly to be able to analyze what you're doing and lean into what's working.
Yeah.
And B, you're going to be better set up to convert more colder traffic anyway from Pinterest, meaning that if someone on Pinterest has never heard of you before and just found you because they searched for a keyword that has to do with what you help with, and they land on a landing page, are they going to feel ready to give you their email address? Maybe they might, depends on if the landing page is optimized for cold traffic, what the offer is, like so many factors. But if you take those cold traffic people, and Pinterest is going to be a lot of cold traffic because it's what we want. We want new people who
Yeah.
wouldn't have found us otherwise searching and finding us. We want new people. That's the whole point, right? So cold traffic is a good thing in this case. But if they land on a blog post instead that gives them some value and shows them something that makes them think, oh, yeah, I want to watch that free webinar that she has about that topic, or yeah, I want that, PDF that helps you make 3 changes to your diet that are going to take you from, hitting a wall every day at 3 o'clock with energy to feeling, sustained energy throughout the day, right? Yes, I
Yeah.
want that. Whatever that is, like that you can write a blog post to help them want that. That's also going to make it so you're going to convert more people because the landing page might convert some people, but other people are going to need a little bit more before they want to add their email to your list anyway to get that freebie, right? So when it comes to like people coming to us with one landing page and no blog posts, that's always been my MO as well. Now, of course, this is always it's gonna make a difference to like what kind of business you run and all that kind of stuff. Most of the people that came to me over those years and still come to me for this are going to be coaches, service-based businesses like I was, for example. So people who, other Pinterest managers, social media marketers,
Yep.
web designers, copywriters, those are the types of people that are in my program now and also came to me for Pinterest for years. in addition to the health coaches and the relationship coaches and all those coaches that I helped. Um, they are typically people who want clients. And so they do have a funnel sometimes. So it's like they have that landing page, but yes, they also need some long form content. And that was years ago when I was doing Pinterest. These days, it's even more important, I think, to warm people up with long form content before you ask for their email address on a landing page, because people are much less trusting these days than they ever were back in the day when I was originally doing all those Pinterest setups for coaches that were like, selling their offers like so easily because it was a different kind of market back then too. So, okay, so that's my little like rant on, can you have a successful Pinterest strategy with one landing page, i.e., one landing page, no blog posts. Um, Another thing to think about though too is like there is a possibility of having a successful Pinterest strategy without blog posts per se, but if you have YouTube videos and or podcast episodes. So some people
Yeah.
do run Pinterest pins to YouTube episodes or podcast episodes. However, you and I both have discovered over the years that they always do better and they always get more traffic from Pinterest and they always convert better when those YouTube videos and or those podcast episodes have been turned into blog posts or show notes, which basically means like a type of blog post really on your blog. Just a quick mention of that as well while we're on this subject of like, can you do this with like no blog posts, right? So,
Yeah, you
bef-
really have to have URLs. So if you're doing it with no blog post, but you're an e-commerce seller, like my client, for example,
Mhm.
yeah, we can manage that. I could even probably run my own strategy at this point without promoting any of my own blog posts because I have like 72 products in my Shopify store and I have the same like 72 products in my Etsy store. So I have like two URLs for each product.
Right.
I also have freebies galore. I have a whole library of content that's not just blog posts these days. Um,
Yep.
so I think it just depends on where you're starting. But if you are a total beginner and you're asking yourself this question, but you have blog content, whether you think it's good or not, like you can always update your blog content.
Right.
That's something that you can do and work on.
Yep.
It's something that we're always doing in my business. I'm always working on blogs and improving them.
Yep. I was just teaching a blog writing workshop yesterday for my HLC students. It was a bonus in our last launch.
Hmm.
And before we start writing in those workshops, I always give them a quick like kind of refresher lesson on a concept that I teach inside of our anti-perfectionism protocol, which is the improve as you share method,
Yeah.
where you're getting your blog post out there into the world and it's not in stone. Like if you keep trying to tweak it over and over and make it perfect before you publish it, it'll never get published. So instead, we get it out there, even though it's not perfect. And every time you go to share it, whether it's you're creating new Pinterest pins for it, or you're sending it to someone in the DMs who you're talking to and they asked a question and your blog post answers it, or
Yep.
you're sharing it in your email list or whatever, you go in and you eyeball it and you can make little updates to it. So it's definitely something to make sure you remember. And I like it in relation to this topic. I'm glad you brought it up because I do think that that's part of the psychology behind people asking this question of us so much too. They say like, how many blog posts do I need? And they're thinking about their old dusty blog that has like three blogs on it from 2001 that they wrote back in 2001 when we were like, locked down and like they were writing blogs. But now when they look at it, they're like, I don't even know if I want to share those three blogs. I didn't have a strategy. Like they're not really like relevant to me anymore. I don't even know what I was doing.
They're so
So
bad.
they feel like they have no blogs, even though they actually have like three technically, right? So I have people come to me all the time in that situation in HLC. So okay. So before we move on from this, I like one end of the spectrum, which is people saying like the topic today is like how many blog posts do you need for Pinterest to work? We've talked about some of the things that happen when people have no blog posts or they think they have no blog posts, and we can kind of move along the spectrum to people who have some or whatever. But is there anything else you wanted to add about like, people who have no blog posts or just very few, like one or two or
And get to writing. Write some more.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's so many
Um,
tools these days. Honestly, like if you don't want to write it yourself, there's AI tools. If you're against AI, um, you know, get to writing. It is
right.
such a valuable thing to do. for your business, and I really think that it's an investment long term. And the more I write, the more I enjoy it. I used to
Hmm.
hate doing it. I'm starting to actually enjoy it. And I do use some AI to help me to generate ideas and like
Yep.
the starter of like a seed email or like a seed caption. I don't use it for blog posts because I have Sarah. She's amazing. She
Yeah.
does my blogs.
But she might be
Um,
using it behind the scenes a little bit just to, be creative and
I don't know
no?
what she's
Okay.
doing, honestly. I give her
Mhm.
full leeway, but when I go
Yeah,
and look at the blog posts, it sounds like me. So
that's great.
I don't know what she's doing, but
That's so good.
there
Yeah.
are occasionally like sentences in there I'll go and like edit them out because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't like how that sounds, or like I
Yeah.
wouldn't say
I
that.
wouldn't say that. Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
I don't
Yeah.
tell her that. Like I do
You just
it
do
and
it. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure she expects it too. Yeah. Yeah. Like in HLC in my program, I mean, if you don't have a blog and you want it because you want Pinterest to work for you, like join my program.
yeah.
We're actually the wait list is gathering now. We open on December 1st. I'm sorry, the 4th to the wait list. And I literally just drafted an email this morning that said how to get clients in December. And basically it's like, okay, join HLC on December 4th. There's this incredible bonus that I'm offering this time around.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm ever going to offer it again because it's going to be very time consuming for me to deliver, but I'm so excited for it anyway. But I'm doing everybody who joins during the waitlist week, if you're on the waitlist when you join, you're getting 10 capsule worthy blog topics chosen by me for you.
Oh,
So within days of joining, yeah, you're going to have a list from me with 10 blogs to write. And I have GPTs inside HLC. So you can go in with the topic, outline the
wow.
topic using my outlining worksheet, generate your blog with a GPT, zhuzh it up in whatever way you want, like you just said, like delete the sentence that you don't like or rewrite it or whatever, and get it published and then pin it. Like
Wow.
it could all be so fast, you know. Although my email is about getting clients, and I will say that like if you're wanting to get clients in December with new blog posts, I wouldn't expect to pin them to Pinterest and have them be bringing you clients in December. Just to let you know, like
Yeah.
Pinterest
No.
isn't necessarily the right place for that. It could maybe bring you clients in January or February, perhaps, but if you want clients in December, you're going to need to probably share those with like your email list or social or DM them to people that you're having sales conversation, like you're already courting, for your offers, things like that in
Yeah.
December. But I digress. Like, if you don't have blogs and you want them, like, please come and join us inside of HLC. And you will have blogs and you will have high converting blogs that are great for pinning to Pinterest. Um, okay, so let's talk about the other way to think about this. I feel like there's another way to think about this, which you kind of alluded to earlier, which is if you want to know how many blog posts you really need to have a like robust enough Pinterest strategy that you're going to be able to pin enough volume of pins so that you'll get results quickly and also so that you'll be able to see the data because if you only pin like, a couple pins a month, you're probably it's going to take so long until you have anything in your analytics that you're going to be able to even go on to like decide what's working and what's not, right? So that's
Yeah.
part of this as well. So you can think about what kind of volume you want to be pinning and then reverse engineer from that.
Yeah.
And this makes me think of your Pinterest system,
It
and my
does.
little spreadsheet too, where we think about, okay, how many pins do you want to pin? And if you want to think about it that way, then reverse engineer from there. So what were we going to say? Sorry.
Yeah, so I actually just updated the Pinterest system yesterday, like a full gut remodel.
Mm.
I've been working on it behind the scenes for a while, but I did all the filming of the course material yesterday, and it
Hmm.
is definitely like more streamlined and simplified.
Hmm.
But you basically just need to take inventory of what you have. And then what I like to do, and I know this is a little bit more advanced, you can definitely just start with like your highest converting or like the content that is the most likely to convert to clients,
Hmm.
answers client questions or whatever. You could start with those, or you could do that and this is the more advanced part, check Pinterest and see if it's necessarily something that's seasonal. So
Mm.
if you're a gut health coach and you're talking about holiday, planning around the holidays for food or whatever,
Yep.
then you're probably doing that in the holiday season and you're not probably not talking about that in like July.
I just remembered one of my clients years ago had a blog post that was like how to poop during December. It was like
There,
she was in the gut health
okay.
space. She was in the gut health space, and basically she had this blog post that always went viral every year in December that was like how to enjoy like the holidays and like not be constipated. Basically, it was like, okay, I love it. It solves a real problem that real
It
humans
does.
have and and are trying to avoid. So yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, keep going. I just had to
Yeah,
mention that.
so that's what I like to do is A, ask yourself, is this evergreen? If it is, skip to the next piece of content. Basically, what you're looking for is the content that's um, seasonal and you're
Hmm.
checking it against what converts the best for you.
Yep.
So if obviously on Pinterest, if it's seasonal, you want to make sure you're backing up the timeline of when you start promoting it by about 3 months.
Hmm.
So anything Christmas, we're starting in September, truly, if not earlier, like you could do earlier. And then if it's evergreen, you're just like rotating through those pins. Someone
Hmm.
in the chat said 70 posts, I guess, cycled for the next 4 weeks. That's a lot of blog posts, and you could definitely do that. You could
Yeah.
honestly do like 2 pins per post for the next 4 weeks, and you have 140 pins.
Hmm.
You do 1 pin per post, and then like
Yep.
that's almost 2 pins per day.
Yeah. Yeah. 70 blog posts is a lot.
That's a
And
lot.
honestly, like if a client came to one of us and was like, "Oh, I have 70 blog posts and they're all great and I want to keep them in circulation on Pinterest," that's a dream client for a Pinterest manager.
Yeah. I'm pretty much going through those 70 blog posts every other month. So 30
Yeah.
this month, the other 30 the next month, then starting with the last 10
Yep.
and bringing 20 back in and like I'm kind of cycling through. But I do have a lot of clients these days that do have a ton of content. So
Hmm.
basically what I'm doing is I'm creating 12 pins per URL and I'm spreading them out for 12 weeks.
Hmm.
And then as soon as I have a new opening in that 10 pin per day schedule, I'm cycling new URLs into those blanks.
Nice.
So the
That's an
initial
easy
setup
way
for
to
this,
conceptualize it. Yeah.
yeah, the initial setup for this was a lot of work, a lot of hours. I actually had to enlist the help of Lana to actually get it done. But once we got like the baseline 10 pins per day for the initial like 40 URLs, then
Hmm.
I just took like the next 40 URLs and we just started with those. And I'm just now having to cycle those in. But I always have fresh content going into the queue going with that method. And I'm spreading that content out over 12 weeks. So I really am doing work clear into January for this client right now. So I'm not always on the current month,
Hmm.
which is stressful for me. It's when you have that many URLs and working only one at a time, um, it stresses me out. So I like to
Yeah.
work ahead.
Yep.
I like to bulk it out.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so I just made a note for myself that after this live stream, I'm going to add something in the description of this video that will help people find your Pinterest system because
Yeah.
okay, so we started at one end of the spectrum with like people who are like, I got no blog posts. What should I do? Can I do this with one URL, one landing page, right? And instead of talking about the middle, which we'll go back to in a minute, we kind of swung to the other direction. And now we're talking about because some amazing human in the comments, who is that? Has 70 blog posts.
How I solved it. How I solved
How
it.
I Solved It has 70 blog posts, which is phenomenal. So, so good. Okay. I mean, that's more than I even teach my students to ever have. So
It's
that's,
a lot.
you're doing so well. You probably have a different monetization method than my students in HLC do. But 70 blog posts is fabulous for Pinterest. You're going to be great. So that's like the other end of the spectrum where you have so much content and you actually need a system to figure out which ones you should pin, like how do you prioritize them? And I think one of the best uses for your Pinterest system that you have is to figure that out. I know you can also use your Pinterest system if you're kind of in the middle, and that's where we want to kind of swing back to now. So we started on the one end of the spectrum with like no blog posts, right? And now we're
Mhm.
talking about someone who has a ton of blog posts. So let's go back to the middle. And that also reminds me, we have a video that we did a live stream, which I'll also link in the description, that's something about like how to create a minimum viable Pinterest strategy. And
Mhm.
that's a really good video that someone might want to watch if there's someone who's in the middle or wants to be in the middle of this spectrum, who's asking themselves, okay, I want Pinterest. I know my Content would perform well on it. I like the platform. How many blog posts do I need to start on Pinterest? I came to get the answer to that question, girls. What is it? So, um, the way I would think about this is the same way that we think about this minimum viable strategy, or the way I recommended the minimum viable strategy to people like coaches and service providers who have clients and therefore are not full-time marketers. They only have limited time every week for marketing. They can't be pinning 70 blog posts to Pinterest every month. That's just more pins than they have the capacity to make for themselves. I mean, yes, they could outsource it, but if you're not outsourcing it right now. So if you think about it, let's say you decide that as your minimum viable Pinterest strategy for, let's say, the next 3 to 6 months while you see if it's going to work for you, if you're just getting started, for example, is that you want to pin, let's say, 30 pins a month or 60 pins a month. And again, this is not going to work necessarily. This kind of volume might not work if you're a blogger or you need a ton of traffic, but this is the kind of minimum viable strategy that I would start someone with if they were a coach or a service provider getting started with Pinterest. So
Yep.
that's like 1 pin a day or 2 pins a day. So let's go with the 2 pins a day one just to think about how to reverse engineer this. But you could totally go with the 1 pin a day one if you feel like that's what you want to bite off first. And then you just need to do this for like 6 months at least so that you get enough volume to be able to look at the numbers. So but let's just say you feel like you have the capacity, maybe you have a VA who's going to help you with some of it, to do 60 pins per month, right? So
Hmm.
then you think to yourself, okay, how many times am I comfortable pinning the same blog post every month? And for me, Jana, and for people who I typically work with, I would say I would be comfortable having them pin the same blog post, I'd say 3 times a month, maybe 4 at the most. When you start doing more, I feel like it can start to potentially be a little bit too repetitive, in my opinion. So let's go with the conservative version and say you're going to pin each blog post 3 times per month. So that means you need 20 blog posts in order to have 60 pins per month. Or it means you need 10 blog posts in order to pin 30 pins a month, right?
Yep.
Am I doing that right?
Yep.
Math. Before we started this, I was telling Heather about a big fail that I had in my personal life that had to do with doing math wrong
Math.
before we started. So now I'm just checking with her because I'm feeling a little underconfident. Am I doing the math right?
I think
Okay,
so. Yep.
so that's another way to think about it, right? The other thing you can think about is, okay, I don't have 10 blog posts yet, but I'm going to join high leverage content and I'm going to write 10 high converting blog posts so I can get them out on Pinterest, right? But let's say you already have 3, or you're going to join high leverage content, or you're going to do your blog on your own. Fine, humph. Um, Once you have like 4 blog posts written, you can start pinning those. Don't like wait until you have 10, but
Yeah.
set a goal for yourself to get to the point where you, within a few months, right, where you have 10. Or if you want to be a little more, um, like, what's the word? Ambitious,
Ambitious.
try to get to your 10 blog posts within 90 days. Inside of HLC, we actually do like you get lifetime access and you don't have to do it at this cadence. And a lot of people do it at their own pace. But I'd say about a third of my students follow the cadence that I kind of recommend. It's not I wouldn't say recommend, that's too strong a word, but the cadence that I give them to have something to work on
Yeah.
in the program is 9 posts in 90 days. So, aim for that. And then you'll have enough once you get past to that 90-day mark where you'll be able to pin every blog post 3 times per month and have, 30 pins per month going out.
Yeah.
Or even enough to get to 60 pins a month so that you'll get your data faster and get results faster. And all of this is predicated on something you mentioned earlier, which I just want to mention briefly, which is that your blog posts need to be deep enough and have enough detail in them that it's going to make sense to have 3 different pins. Like you said, if it's like a 100-word blog post, or that's kind of silly, but like a 250-word blog post, it might be hard to come up with 3 different ways to like present that information in a Pinterest pin. You might be able to do it, but it's better if it goes deeper so that it's really easy for you to come up with 3 different angles that represent that pin. We can talk about more about what we mean by 3 different angles and like how to find them and things like that. But I'm going to pause for a second because I've been jabbering and see what you think about this kind of approach when you're not someone who has 0 blog posts, but you're not someone who has 70 and you want to be in the middle somewhere.
No, I think that's good. I think whatever you decide on, you stick with it for a minimum of 90 days and you try it out and
Six,
you give it a good old
6 months.
college try. Yeah.
Yeah. maybe six
minimum.
months. Yeah,
Yeah.
minimum 90 days. Yep.
How I solved it asks a really great follow-up question to this conversation is what is the ratio and frequency of fresh and old URLs? And I think Jana kind of answered it with if you have, 30 URLs that you want to promote, or I guess would it be 60? Because no, 30 and you multiply it by two. I'm doing math weird now.
I was saying 10 or 20 multiplied by three, but again, it's going to
Okay.
depend because I think how you solved it is someone, I don't know what kind of business they have. What kind of business do you have? Tell us in the chat. Um, it's good. That's probably different than the type of person that I typically work with that needs like a minimum viable strategy. But go
Yeah.
ahead. Yep.
Yeah, so if you want to start with 10 and you multiply those by 3, whatever you decide on, that's what you do. And don't worry about the ratio between like pins that you are creating again, so URLs that you made pins for, so those would be fresh pins, and new URLs. Um, just incorporate your new URLs in as you have
As
them
as they become
because you're
available. Yep.
making new images for the old URLs anyways. So Pinterest sees those as fresh pins, not the same ones that you're just repinning again. So I think that's the distinction here that a lot of people get hung up on is you're going to continue making fresh pins for your content with the different keywords in your keyword plan anyways. Um, so as long as you're running your Pinterest strategy, I would encourage you to continue incorporating the old URLs because they are probably um, still very good.
Right.
And they said that they have a blog in the health niche, so right up your
Okay.
alley.
Yeah, and is the blog, do you monetize with ads and affiliate links, or do you have digital products, or are you a coach? Like, how do you make money on your blog is what I'm curious about. If you want to answer, I feel like I'm like grilling you. But I'd be curious about that because I know sometimes that, like I said, those types of things really affect like how many pins you need to actually have a minimum viable, profitable strategy.
Yeah. So if you do have 10, let's say you have 10 and you wanted to create for a month for each and do one per week.
Hmm.
I mean, you've now gone over the, it's you have 7 days in a month. So if you have 10 URLs, that's technically 10 days of content that you've covered. Um,
Yep. Do
so
you,
yeah,
do you, Heather, think I'm being too conservative when I say I would only encourage people to pin something 3 times a month? Do you think 4 times a month is fine and I'm being too
four
conservative?
times a month is fine. It's
Okay.
totally fine.
Listen to Heather. She
And
knows better than I do.
it's totally fine. You're doing one a week, you're creating new URLs. So it's really, honestly, it's not a big deal.
Did you say no, not creating new URLs, new
New
pins, fresh
pins, I'm
images,
sorry.
new images, fresh
Yeah.
images. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're creating fresh images every month. So that's 100% okay.
Yeah.
For a month, great.
Yeah. I think when we get back, we should do a live stream about this is everyone. This is our last live stream of 2025
I
because
know
we
that's crazy.
always take Thanksgiving week off and then we
And then,
always take December off. We
yep.
did this even back in the clubhouse days. We'd pop in December a little bit, but because it's the holidays, we would just give ourselves the time off. So oh my gosh, I can't believe it's our last one. But while we're thinking about scheduling things for January, I think we could do a whole live stream as like a kind of a continuation of this conversation about how to generate multiple fresh images that all feel, fresh and unique from each other from the same blog post.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Instead of trying to cover it really fast today, I think that would be a really good topic for when we get back.
Yeah. No, I think it would be a good topic and we can definitely break that out, hash it out.
And I
Um,
I think I have an old Pinterest blog post that actually answers that question too. So if I can find it, I
yeah.
will put it in the description of this video just in case there's anyone who's like, wait a minute, I want to learn that before January. I'll stick that in there, but then we'll talk about it in January.
Yeah. Some people might be working on their Pinterest stuff over the holidays because
Mhm.
they're not doing as much with clients, or they might just have some extra time because their kids might be off school or whatever it is. So, um, yeah, that's crazy. Our kids only have about another month of school before their fall break or their winter break. They've already had fall break. Um, so nuts. This month has gone by so fast too.
Yeah. Yeah. right. Well, this was a good one. I think we talked, we
Yeah.
helped people understand the answer to the question, how many pins do you need for Pinterest? How many blog posts do you need for Pinterest to work? We talked about how it could work with zero blog posts. We talked about how it could work if you have just a couple of blog posts, same end of the spectrum. Then we
Yep.
went all the way to the top of the spectrum. We talked about how it could work if you have 70 blog posts or 100, like I do. And then, and the reason I have 100, just so you all know, is that I've been blogging for years and years. Like it's been, 8, 9 years, but I actually
Yep.
really only regularly pin about 40 of them because I pin my capsule library that I created to sell my Pinterest offers, and I pin my capsule library that I created to sell my HLC high leverage content offer. So that's what I teach in HLC as a capsule library, and I basically have like 20 posts in one capsule library and about 18 in the other capsule library. But and then we went to the middle and we answered the question like, okay, but what's in the middle? Like, what if you just want to have like the minimum number of posts that you need to make Pinterest work?
Mhm.
So
No, it's good.
yeah,
It's good
it's good
stuff.
stuff. Jinx, you owe me a
Okay.
Coke.
Well, if that's it, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I
I guess
know.
we're
This is it for
gonna,
2025. I'll see you. Well, I'll talk to you much sooner than that, but I'll see you here on our next live stream on YouTube in 2026.
wow. Okay. Well, I guess that's when I'll see you. Thanks, guys, for joining.
No, I'll see you sooner, but we won't see
Bye.
you guys sooner. We'll miss you. We'll see you in January.
All
Okay,
right. Bye for
bye.
now. I don't actually know if it's ended because it's logged me out. Don't say anything crazy.
Okay, I won't burp.
It said live streaming unavailable.
Okay, let's just quit out so we know for sure, and then we can talk on WhatsApp.